What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, enjoy the clip, no notes.
Ricky215 also says, honestly, Ben is the reason we got back into the game. He passed to every 3 we got when we were fighting back. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's going to be big for us come playoff time.
Like, this is going to be hard for certain people to understand. And, like, because obviously, look, we're not playing the greatest teams, obviously. But you're playing who's on your schedule. Mm-hmm. And Ben has impacted this team immensely since coming back. We've won 7 straight. I don't care what you have to say, how we've done it. We've won those games. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, oh, he's not really making a difference. I said, we went 0-4 beforehand. Like, we played some decent teams, and we played some bad teams as well. Like, he impacts the game. Like, people, like, you can love him or you hate him. Like, people were literally telling me, oh, see, we'd be a much better team if, George Hill started at point guard. We'd be such a better basketball team.
This is something that I don't like about the national stance on the Sixers. Maybe it has to do with the process. But those early years, I mean, when the Sixers lost in Ben Simmons' second year in Game 7 to the champions of the league, the Raptors, and Embiid's third year, you would have thought the sky was falling. You would have thought these guys were 7-year vets, and they just lost in the second round. And people
they hated each other. Don't you know that? They hate each other. They'll never
hated each other,
Yeah, exactly. People don't realize
they don't even want to pass the ball to each other.
In a league where Michael Jordan didn't make it out the first round until he was like 5 years in the league.
1-7, Johnny. 1-7.
Is that what it was? 1-7?
He was 1-7 before Pippen showed up.
Exactly. Well, he didn't win a title until his 9th year. So it takes time to win championships.
Everyone who loves – because everyone loves the points, right? Michael Jordan was putting up 30-plus a game, winning scoring titles left and right, but getting his butt cheeked in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the issue is, and don't get me wrong, I think the Steph Curry effect really affected everyone's kind of view on the league because during that whole era when Steph Curry was the guy, and I mean he still is the guy, he's still a fantastic player, but I'm talking about like 2016 Steph Curry when he was just automatic. I think that would, in my opinion, I think that hurt the league because everyone's focusing on points now. Everyone wants to have a pretty have a pretty shot, and just shoot threes all day, and that's not what the game's about. That's just not what the game's about.
Yep.
I think that Maxey has real. I really would be shocked if, I'm not going to say next year, maybe he'll fill like a bigger bench role next year, get more minutes. But in 2 years from now, I really would be shocked if he's not starting for the Sixers or for a different team because he's just that good.
Yeah.
He just works that hard. And when you have a player that's that talented, has the work ethic, they're going to go places.
Maxey is very inconsistent. He's turnover prone, and Doc does not trust rookies no matter what.
And that's just always been Doc's thing. But again, we've seen flashes of Maxey. Yeah, he had that 40-point game, and that was all nice, and we all got excited, and that's fine. But like we see flashes, we know what he can be. But he's a baby. He's only 20 years old.
You don't need 20 years old. You don't need to force him out there.
You don't.
You can let him learn from veterans.
Yep.
And let him have his moments here or there. You don't need to force him. You don't need to force a round peg through a square hole. And I say this as a former Brett Brown fan. This isn't a Brett Brown team. You don't need to force guys to be something they're not. Guys will be who they're supposed to be in this organization because you have an owner who is letting the GM make his decisions and the coach make the correct decisions. And the coach and the GM are on the same wavelength. And when was the last time you can say that about a team in Philadelphia?
It's
been a while. For real.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Last week, the Eagles traded up in division with the Dallas Cowboys to the 10th pick and drafted Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, the best wide receiver in Alabama's history. If you're looking at statistics, to me, that's an A plus. That's an A plus right there. That's an A plus right there. You got a guy in Devontae Smith that's just a day one starter who's going to be a day one impact player, in my opinion. And I just think he's going to be a real I'm not gonna praise him and say gold jacket type of guy just yet, because I need to see how he does at the next level. But he's going to be a serious Pro Bowl to All Pro caliber player, I think, in this league for a long time.
Jake, what did I say 3 months ago on this show?
But
Devonta at 6.
yeah,
What have I been saying? What have I been saying?
Mm-hmm.
Devonta Smith at 6. Keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They call this guy is called the Slim Reaper for a reason, because he takes lives. It doesn't matter if it's deep. It doesn't matter if it's in a screen. He murders guys in the slot.
Yeah.
My favorite thing with Devonta is you know how they keep throwing up the J.C. Horn stats about who he's locked down and everything. They always leave out one guy, and that was Devonta Smith, because Devonta took his lunch money, went back to his house, stole from his mama and grandma, and then went home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the type of player Devonta Smith is. He is a baller and a bona fide shot caller. He is a PIMP.
And I mean, I would love. I mean, I don't know how the Eagles' season is going to go, but I would love to see the Eagles get a chance at Derek Stingley next year. Jake knows how good he is, but literally, when I was watching Devonta Smith go up against Derek Stingley, who is the no doubt bona fide best corner in all of the entire college football, he looked like an NFL practice squad player. Like, he was getting turned, he was getting beat off the line. They tried to press him. He just could not do anything with him. And people really are going to see, I think, in my opinion, that the size does not matter at all. And I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I have a real feeling that he's going to be viewed as the best receiver in this draft.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
and I know that Jake and I love Jamar Chase, but I think Devonta's going to have a more productive season because our offensive line is definitely better than the Bengals. Like,
there you go. Sure. Obviously, second round, number 37. We take center out of Alabama, Landon Dickerson. Now, I remember before day 2 of the draft, I was talking to Ryan about it. I'm like, do not be surprised if the Eagles take a center or an offensive lineman in the second round. He's like, oh, no, I don't see that happening. Well, alone and behold. Now, again, this pick has come with a lot of criticism, which I understand with, because it's been a lot of injuries and stuff like that. 2 ACL tears. I think he had 2 ankles too. I could be wrong.
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah, so the guy has had a lot of injuries in his college career and just during his playing career. I understand the concern, but if Landon Dickerson pans out and he's able to stay healthy,
that's money.
Play at a consistent level, you're talking about an old pro caliber player, and
that's a top 20 player in this draft if he's healthy.
Oh, and there's no question. And I was listening to. I was watching one of Baldy's breakdowns, Brian Baldinger's breakdowns, which are fantastic, by the way.
Everyone should watch
he was saying, what do you call it? He's like, if he's healthy, he's the next Quentin Nelson.
Yep.
So
he play all 5 positions. That's Mike Kaye was talking about that when they drafted him. Of what is he? Oh, NewJersey.com.
Okay.
And he was talking about Dickerson, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's a bench player for this year, and he's like, I don't know about that. He was talking about the fact that if Dickerson's healthy, he might be able to steal the job away from Isaac Seumalo.
He very well could. He absolutely could. And if he's healthy come training camp and that whole thing, and he plays well in the preseason, I don't see why not.
As a group, I think A2D is very split on this pick. Like, I've heard a ton of people say we love the pick. We think that he could be really good for the Eagles. And we also hear a ton of people that recognize how talented he is, but are seriously looking at the questionables with his injury history. And I don't really need to reiterate, like, the 2 sides of it. Like, oh, if he stays healthy, we all know, like, this, and that. But, like, it really does take a lot of hopefulness on our part. Like, every time we're going to watch this guy, we're going to be like Joel Embiiding. We're going to be like, ugh. Like, we're going to be really hoping and praying to God that he doesn't get injured.
Right.
Even with that said, I do think this was a good pick, and I think that the value is just too good to pass up at that spot.
Yeah,
and I'll say this about Dickerson is that a lot of people, like, obviously, I wanted Asante Samuel Jr. bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have no issue with the pick because here's the thing. This isn't a we need to fix everything right now pick. This is a next year we have 10 picks and 3 possible first round picks. That's the type of pick Landon Dickerson is a forward thinking pick to where we might not have Brandon Brooks next year or Jason Kelsey or Lane Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
We might tell them to sayonara and see you later. And the fact that Landon Dickerson could play all 5 positions does a lot for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think giving any type of draft an A is kind of foolish because you don't really know where the late round picks are going to pan out. But I think the Eagles did what they had to do. A lot of people don't like the fact they didn't get a lot of corners, but I think I appreciate what they're trying to go for with their process of this year. We're going to make some picks, players we think may develop into something for next year, and hopefully we can get those 3 first-round picks and we can either turn them into a star player or we can turn them into a bunch of impact rookies that can come out here and make us really into a division champion again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's going to be a big thing as far as like when you're talking about draft picks. And that's why I think this season in particular, whether we have a good year, bad year, or whatever it may be, I really, at least for me, I really want Jalen Hurts to be successful. I want him to prove himself that he is a franchise quarterback, just because if that does happen, we are loaded for next year. That's absolutely loaded.
That's
and we can
true, because if we have a situation where Jalen Hurts doesn't work out and the Eagles, let's say even if Jalen Hurts doesn't work out, we might be in a situation where we're not at the top of the draft. We might have to trade up to get our guy. And those 3 first-round picks where if Jalen Hurts works out, we can use those on positions that we don't have.
Those are bonus picks, baby.
Yeah, real quickly fill in the holes. But if we have to go out and get another quarterback, that kind of sets us back, starting over with another rookie. So really, we all want Jalen Hurts to succeed because that's the best case scenario.
I mean, yeah, that's the best case scenario. But again, if he doesn't pan out and it doesn't work out, I mean, you have ammunition to get a starting quarterback in this league.
For sure.
An Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson. Now, I don't want the Russell Wilson or the Aaron Rodgers. I'd love it, but we're nowhere close to competing
exactly
to where that's even going to matter.
Exactly.
So what I'm paying attention to more than anything is the whole Deshaun Watson situation. So if he gets exonerated of all those things and whatever, I think even like if he's like excused or whatever you want to call it with all of his cases and all the allegations and whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I just don't see how the Texans demand 3 or even possibly 2 first-round picks just because of all the stuff that happened this offseason.
So you think the price would go down?
I think what do you call it? Obviously, I think if he gets exonerated, obviously.
Yep.
I think it goes down. If there ends up being some truth behind it and he does get charged, then obviously that's going to hurt as well. But I think even like just with the huge media stir, I just don't see where the Texans are in any position to demand 3 to possibly 2 first-round picks. I personally don't. But I mean, we'll see.